Lascar Electronics Limited designs and manufactures a range of digital panel meters and data loggers. With headquarters based in Wiltshire, UK, they also have offices in USA and Hong Kong, plus a separate UK warehousing facility. Logistically, this created several problems. The US and Hong Kong locations were using different MRP and accounting systems to the UK, which were DOS-based, and each location also relied on a network of Excel spreadsheets.
As everybody knows, people are manufacturing more and more in Hong Kong and in the Far East, China. Obviously that brings your costs down, you can be more competitive in the worldwide market. That means producing in the Far East. So if you're producing in the Far East, you need materials in the Far East. We were kitting up in the UK, but then shipping the kit once it was ready out to the Far East. Once in the Far East, we would then decide which manufacturing arm we would use and then produce the product. Now the problem with that is half the components were actually produced in Hong Kong already. Half the components for the kit were coming from the States or from Europe, and it was taking time. So what we really needed to do was kit up in Hong Kong and kit where we're going to be making the parts. And we realised that the systems that we were using just couldn't cope with it. You couldn't load works order, for example, to interrogate a bit of materials so you could build up a kit. So we needed immediately a manufacturing system in the Far East. So that was our first problem. We had a basic stock control system and accounting system, so we could move material around, but we couldn't really keep control. And we ended up having, as probably most people do in these situations, lots of spreadsheets, and trying to keep control of a million spreadsheets is quite difficult.
In 2001, following a recommendation from an existing 123MRP.net customer, Rod attended an evaluation workshop and immediately saw the benefits of the system.
So I went on to a workshop back in 2001. They came across as very enthusiastic, very knowledgeable. My problem then was trying to convince the rest of the group, bearing in mind it's a group of electronic companies, that to switch over to a new way of thinking about manufacturing systems was quite a struggle. We decided to leave it for a little bit. We could see that the marketplace was developing, and certainly what Rent IT were doing, they were definitely starting to push the envelope of what was already out there. To me, it was a no-brainer. Unfortunately, I couldn't convince everybody else.
In 2006, they purchased a well-known traditional system after submitting a 47-page tender document to several suppliers. 3 months later, it had still not been fully implemented, so Rod again looked at 123MRP.net.
But we really struggled to put this new system in place that would actually going to give us any benefits. We soon realised we were just almost replacing like for like. We then also realised that if the UK has just spent 6 months on trying to implement a system and get it working for us, how on earth are people in Hong Kong going to cope with it? Bearing in mind, English isn't their first language. So I had to make the tough decision to shut down the first programme and switch over to 123MRP.net. Back in, I think it was actually August last year, Guy said to me, look, come on the training, send a team onto the training, and if you don't like it, if you don't like the product, don't like the training, you can walk away. We went to training, 4 of us went there, so I took a team and quite influential people within the company as well, and took them onto the training course. And the idea was if we didn't like the training, we didn't like the system, we'd walk away from it. If you bear in mind also, at this point, we spent quite a bit of money with another system, so it was starting to be we needed a way out that wasn't going to cost us any money. It's a good model because it enabled us to really see the product and really understand its capabilities. After training, it was clear. The thought process was right in the first place, it's a good product and we should go with it. And so we paid for the training, and happily paid for the training, and then we moved on to 123MRP.net.
Lascar embarked upon implementing the system, employing authorised Rent IT partner Bluechip to install a SQL server in the UK.
They were very helpful, very knowledgeable. The information that Bluechip gave us, we've quickly assimilated at Lascar, but they still help us, and certainly the startup of that was very smooth.
As the main issues related to kitting, the decision was made to get the Hong Kong factory using 123MRP.net first, over a remote Citrix connection. 2 staff that had attended 123MRP.net training flew to Hong Kong to provide downstream training using the electronic documentation provided, which was achieved in a single day.
Very smoothly, very smoothly. And if you consider that, as I said before, English isn't their first language, I think it's a testament to how easy the product is to use. And also I was training a team that hadn't used some more of the, for example, works orders. They'd never used works orders. They'd never used MRP before. If you take that into account, it's a significant achievement of the team in Hong Kong, but also it really does show the product.
Although Hong Kong was accessing the SQL Server remotely through Citrix, there were no discernible speed issues.
If you're in the States office or in Hong Kong, and I've flown to both sites, and both would work fine remotely, which gives a cost-effective solution really. And all the backup, so the whole company's data is backed up every night and taken off-site. So actually, if something happened anywhere in the world, we could very quickly replicate one of those companies.
Once the system went live, the most noticeable improvement was visibility, which provided a much better level of control globally.
Its ability really to provide you with work to lists, in a nutshell, from the quote process through to the selling product. Each stage throughout the company, from generating quotes, generating purchase orders, generating works orders, chasing deliveries in, each one of those are clearly defined within enterprise, and they provide the key departments with their work to list and prioritise work to list. I think is the key point. The thing on the top of the list is the thing that's the most urgent. Work on that first, and if you do follow those work to lists, generally you've got a smoothly running manufacturing system. Now, we had an arrears figure of around about £30,000 when we went live in the UK, and today I think that's £985.
Lascar continued the implementation process with the UK operation going live in March 2007. At the same time, they decided to standardise on Access Dimensions accounting software, which provided tight integration into 123MRP.net and also uses SQL Server. As the business continued to grow, Lascar identified areas of improvement that could be achieved within 123MRP.net. Rod talked to technical staff at Rent IT and was surprised by the open attitude.
Working with the team at Rent IT is refreshing. The rest of the industry, I think, is moribund. They don't respond to requests. If you come up with a good idea, Rent IT will take that idea on. They will often add to the idea, and they're looking at it from a global perspective with their product, and they'll often improve that idea and then implement it. And the speed of implementation is extremely refreshing. An idea that we came up with must be about 6 months ago is being implemented now and goes live in a couple of weeks. And we've already seen it's in operation on a beta test. So to have that kind of response in this industry is really, really refreshing, and probably a worldwide beta now, I think. We're growing without the growing pains. I think probably if we were growing at the rate we are doing now, 2 years ago, and we had the old systems in place, we would be tearing our hair out with that. Spreadsheets and things going late, people missing vital components. But now I've got confidence that we can grow another good 10-20% without any hassle at all, which is great for the future of Lascar, really.